Well, we don't keep it for salvation. Why are you keeping it then?
Brother Paul, I'm going to stand up in agreement with you, and I'm going to actually say it. Keeping the commandments of God is 100% salvational. If you do not keep the commandments of God, you will not see the kingdom of God. You can try to twist Paul's letters all you want, but at the end of the day, a fact is a fact, whether you like it or not. However, I do want to say one thing. That's not the only reason why people keep the commandments. And to explain this, I want to lay down a little bit of groundwork. Everybody that's ever grown up can relate to certain things that somebody else can't relate to. Some people had a good father. Some people had a bad father. Some people didn't have a father at all. And in those situations, sometimes you can't relate. And I say that because our Father in heaven is amazing. And in every situation between him and his Son, we can find someone that we can relate to. We know that God is a righteous judge. And in that situation, I keep the commandments because I understand the punishment of not keeping the commandments. Any good citizen of a kingdom would keep its laws. You don't run around murdering people because you fear the consequences of being caught. But God is also a father. So in that regard, I keep the commandments because I respect and honor my father. I want to keep the rules of his house. I want to continue to stay in his house. And if you can't relate to a father or a judge, you can relate to the Son. Jesus is our high priest, and he told me what my religion requires of me, and that's keeping the commandments of God, so I do it. Jesus is also a teacher, and I keep the commandments because he taught me it is in my best interest to do so. Jesus is also my brother. In that regard, I keep the commandments out of respect for my older brother who has more wisdom than I do and knows better than I do. Jesus is also a friend, and in that regard, I keep the commandments out of that bond that I have created with my best friend, a bond that sometimes you can't even get with your own family. But in every single one of those scenarios, keeping the commandments would still be salvational. If you don't keep the laws of the kingdom, the judge throws you in prison. If you don't keep your father's rules, he kicks you out of the house. If you don't listen to your high priest, then it's not your religion. If you don't listen to your teacher, you fail the class. If you don't love your brother enough to do what's required to maintain your relationship, then you'll lose him. And the same goes for your friendship. God can also be a husband. And if a wife doesn't respect her husband enough to do what the relationship requires, then he's going to divorce her. Every relationship is conditional.